Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Really, dude? Cat pictures? Really?
Meow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony Wang, editor-in-chief here at the Twit Network. So, as probably a lot of you know, when the Galaxy Note came out, Tony introduced me to it. It was the first phablet I ever played with, a telephone that was a huge monster screen. Then the Note 2 came out. And in both cases, I was a big fan and used them as my day-to-day phone. And I've been very interested, as I'm sure many of you have. I could barely get that in the shot with the Galaxy Note 3. Well, it's here, and it is a monster in everywhere. Wait, except one. It's a little bit smaller, thinner, and narrower, even lighter than the Galaxy Note 2. But it packs a bigger screen, 5.7 inches, and really improves on the one thing I didn't like about the Galaxy Note 1 and 2. It is a 1080p display. We got a full HD display finally on this, and you can see it is a gorgeous display. Quad-core processor running at some insane 2.3 gigahertz or more. I can't even remember. It's big. It's fast. It's got 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of internal storage. Of course, you could put a micro SD card in as well. But, you know, one of the monsters on here, you peel off the back, is the battery. This is a 3,200 milliamp hour battery. I was able to go a day and a half and still be 75% charge on this phone. That's one of the real benefits of having a phone that's this big. You can have an equally large battery. The camera in the front is 2 megapixels. That's nice. The 13 megapixel real-facing camera is very much like the Galaxy S4. In fact, in many ways, this is just a Galaxy S4 on steroids with a big display. One thing that's kind of cool, it does have Android 4.3 on it, so it is very up-to-date. But a negative, it's still got the weird touch whiz. It just little things like having the apps drawer on the right-hand side or having 15 pages, it feels like, of settings. I mean, you could just go on and on looking at the settings. You know, I guess for some people that's a good thing. For me, it just means I can't figure out where these things are. It is not a Google Experience phone by any means. It is a Samsung TouchWiz phone. Having said that, I just love the specs on the Galaxy Note 3. And if you want a big phone, let me just show you what it looks like held up to my ear, because I'm not a small guy. I have a fairly large head. Go ahead and switch, because I don't want to scare Burke when I pull the phone. But it still looks, you know, kind of silly held up to you. That actually looks good.
That's okay.
That's not bad. Yeah. It's not the end of the world, is it? Just be aware of that. It is still small enough. In fact, because the physical form factor is a little bit smaller than the Note 2, it still fits right there in a breast pocket or a side pocket. This is an interesting touch that all the Note 3s have. We're looking at the AT&T model. All the specs are the same, by the way, across all 4 carriers. But it has this stitched pleather background in a couple of different colors. This is the black version. You know, I think this is in response to, remember when the Verge talked about the Galaxy S4 and they said that the back was so slick it felt slimy. I think this is for Josh Topolsky and company. This is just, there's no slime here. There's some texture in it. And it does feel pretty good in the hand. It's just a little strange to have actual stitching on a smartphone. Now, the other thing that, of course, made the Galaxy Notes great all along was the stylus. And it has the stylus, of course, and a lot of stylus-specific features. In fact, as soon as you pull the stylus out, you see it's got this new menu. Notice it has the floating stylus feature where I'm not actually touching the screen. That's handy because you can float over something and get more information about it. I can draw. I can keep memos with the stylus. You can do all the, you know, this is, that's really silly, isn't it? All right. I don't use a stylus, but if you're an artist or you like to do handwritten notes, this is a very nice feature. And I think is one compelling feature a lot of people who buy the Galaxy Notes look for. So it's here. The S Pen is back with the little touch button and all of that. In fact, I think if anything, they've improved on it. In fact, in every respect, I would say this is an improvement over the Galaxy Note 1 and 2. It's kind of a great phone. I loved the camera. I'll give you an example of the TouchWiz nonsense. I'll start the camera app, and immediately you see the problem. There's a golf mode in here. Now, I guess that's great if you're in golf, if you're a golfer, but this is Samsung just goes crazy with little features, weird features. in the camera and everywhere else. And it's definitely not. Look at that. Every time I take a picture, it says, "Look, with the tag, buddy, I can keep track of the weather, location, the person, and the date of each picture as you're taking it." Never mind. I know, that TouchWiz. It'd be great to get rid of it. You can. Cyanogen mod already is available on the Galaxy Note 3. Maybe you like TouchWiz. I'm not a big fan. But overall, I got to say, this is a great phone. And if you're a fan of phablets, of giant phones, there are biggers. In fact, the new HTC One Max is 5.9 inches. It's even bigger than this. But this is well thought out. It's a mature product. This is not Samsung's first time to the giant phone rodeo. And I think they've done a very nice job. But definitely a buy if you're the kind of person who's looking for a big phone. Now, what makes it even more interesting is this companion item. Let me take this off. This is the Galaxy Gear Watch. The phone, by the way, $300 with a 2-year contract, $750, $800 off contract with 32 gigs of storage. That's the AT&T version there. $724 off contract.